Now that you've found UBN Radio and discovered our quality talk shows, it's time to spread the word to friends, family, and the universe. 24 hours of music and talk. Radio without limits. That's why people keep coming back for more. That's ubnradio.com.
It's time for the Bonnie Sher Show, a whirlwind of wit, wisdom, celebrity, and the boomer life. With a little bit of this and a lot of that and so much more you don't want to miss, here's Bonnie.
Yeah.
Well, hello to my new friends and old. Thank you all for tuning in and hopefully calling in and following us on Twitter. First of all, a huge thank you to Wayne Cobham for my super duper theme song. Thanks, Wayne. I am Bonnie Sher, and I am your host through the world of entertainment, through the great boomer generation, and the type 1 diabetes community. On today's show, I'm very proud to announce that I have with me acclaimed singer, musician. He'll tell you all about it. It'll take me the whole show just to run the credits. And one of the reasons that the wonderful Jim Gilstrap is with us here today is to explain more about La La Peace Project, and we are going to premiere the song at the end of his interview. So that's our first guest up. And then also with me today is Yerachmiel Altman, who is a member of the T1D community. So now if you have a question or you have a comment, please call in 323-843-2826, or you can follow hashtag BSherRadio, that's BSHER Radio, on Twitter. So now let's settle in and please say hello to my first guest, Jim Gilstrap.
Hey.
Hello there.
Hello.
This is very exciting for me. I've been a fan of yours for a long time, and when I was first talking to Rick, the producer of the project, and he told me that you were involved, I must say my ears did go up just a little bit with that information.
Thank you.
So for those of our guests who aren't as familiar with your work as I seem to be, can you take us back a little bit? I mean, remember, this show is primarily for boomers. So the youngins, we don't care what they remember. But we want, you've had such a wonderful career, and watching your music, and as a vocalist on top of a musician, that is really what I call the icing on the cake. So tell me about your cake.
Well, my cake started in 1968 with the Doodletown Pipers.
I do remember them.
And we used to appear on Ed Sullivan like twice a year back in 68. And people from the group are Teresa Graves and one of my high school classmates who had her own TV show, Get Christy Love.
Really?
Yep.
You are blasting the past.
She and I went to high school together, and we sang in a group together in high school.
And where was that? Was that
here in Los Angeles?
Oh, so you're an LA guy through and through?
Not through and through. I moved out here after my junior year in Texas to Washington High School and spent my senior year there with Teresa.
That's amazing.
And I started a group called Side Effect at Washington High School with a buddy of mine named Augie Johnson. And, from high school, I went to City College in LACC and started singing there in madrigals and mixed chorus. And I was in classes with one of my best friends was Jerry Peters, who wrote the song, "You Got Me Going in Circles."
Wow.
And Jerry wrote that song. Him and another friend of mine, Skip Scarborough, who wrote "Don't Ask My Neighbor" for the Emotions.
Wow. See, nice friends.
I had nice friends. A guitar player by the name of David T. Walker went to City with us, and from there, from LACC, I ended up in Vietnam on the USS Enterprise.
Wow,
And
that's just
there,
walking along, minding my own business,
my own
humming my
business.
own tune.
But in '68, I joined the Doodletown Pipers, and we played the Frontier Hotel in Vegas, opening for Harry James.
Can you imagine?
We, would sing. We opened for Frank Sinatra Jr. in the lounge at the Frontier Hotel. And then we opened for this guy by the name of Phil Harris, who was married to the actress Alice Faye.
Yes, he was.
And that goes way back. And I enjoyed myself singing in the Doodletown Pipers because Teresa was there before me, and there was a young lady by the name of Vicki Lawrence from the Carol Burnett Show
Of course.
in the group too.
I get one of the least appreciated singers, I think. I think her voice was fabulous. I also
Vicki was incredible. The night the lights went out in Georgia was her hit record. And
amazing.
I still keep in contact with the musical director of the Doodletown Pipers. His name is George Wilkins. And Ward Ellis was also the guy who choreographed the Doodletown Pipers. And, I had a ball with that group. I stay in touch with Mike Campbell, who was a member of the group with me. And it's a lot of fun. His wife Elaine was also in the group with me. There's a lady named Lorna Wright who was in the group also. Her brother Gary Wright was a big-time singer who had hit records. And, from there, I started a group called Side Effect with my buddy Augie Johnson. And from that group, I actually worked with Wonderlove, Mr. Stevie Wonder's group. And I lived with Stevie for 2 years in Queens, New York. And, he wrote this song called "You're the Sunshine of My Life." And I was the first lead voice on that record.
Boy, who doesn't remember that? What a moment in time.
But I had so much fun singing and living with Stevie in New York. It was probably the best thing that ever happened to me.
I can dig that.
And I see Sammy's picture over here, and I sang the original theme song to Beretta.
Don't do the crime
If you can't do the time.
Chew-ah.
Do I?
Well, you
But
do, I chew, which is why I don't work.
It was a lot of fun because Morgan Ames, who wrote the theme song along with Dave Grusin, and they let me sing the lead to it, but the producers of the show had a meeting with Morgan and Dave and told them they didn't want an unknown black singer singing the theme to Robert Blake's show. So they got Sammy to come in
Because he was what? Not black?
because he was famous and Jewish.
So, well, that'll do. Trust me, I get a lot of work from that. And they never even thought of having a white male. I mean, was it written for a black voice? I mean, I don't know.
Robert Blake was a great guy to
Yes.
me. I still wonder to this day if what they say he did, is actually what happened, because he was a friend who was one of the, in the Little Rascals, and he was a good friend of Buckwheat, the guy who played Buckwheat. And Robert Blake, they say, Morgan told me, he stood up in the meeting and said, well, you can take Jim off of the theme song, but you're going to still pay him for singing the theme song. So the whole time the show was on the air, I got paid. Because
I've never heard a story like that.
I also sang the backgrounds to that theme song. And I always thought very highly of Robert. I met Robert Blake and have pictures of him in my recording studio. And I don't know if anybody's guilty. I don't know if O.J.'s guilty. I don't know if Robert Blake is guilty. But they were accused. And, I sat back, and even today, I wonder if O.J. did it. I wonder if Robert Blake did it. I don't know. I just look at TV and go, wow. But, I had a hit record in 1975 after leaving Stevie called Swing Your Daddy.
Yeah, I put that up on Facebook last night.
And I was really happy to be on Wes Farrell's label, Chelsea Records.
Wow. That goes
And
back.
Wes was married to Frank Sinatra's daughter, Tina. So I'm kind of mixed in with the Sinatra family through Wes Farrell, Frank Sinatra Jr., and I met Frank Sr. in Vegas in 1968 when I was in the Doodletown Pipers, and Frank Jr. just passed away, which hurt me a lot because I got to be friends with him in Las Vegas back in '68. And his dad would be in the audience sometime, and, I've been very blessed, to work with people like Stevie Wonder, to work with Frank Jr. in Vegas in '68, and then to work with a lot of the Motown artists like Marvin Gaye, Diana Ross, Sherry Payne, who was in the Supremes, and Sherry and Frida. I see the theme song from Good Times is popping up on the screen. I sang that with Blanky Williams, who was another Motown artist. And she and I sang the lead to Good Times, the TV show. And I've been blessed enough to go out with the cast from Good Times. And we did an autograph signing at one of the hotels over on Century Boulevard. And, I was sitting next to Cindy Williams from Laverne and Shirley. And I also sang on Laverne and Shirley and Happy Days.
Wow.
Come on, baby, let's do the twist. I sang that song. I sang a whole bunch of leads to I even sang, one of my good friends is a guy by the name of Little Anthony.
Wow.
And I love Little Anthony and the Imperials. Clarence Collins, I still work with Clarence in Vegas now, doing backgrounds for some of his music. But I did commercials and TV shows and movies, and I'm in a movie called Naked Gun 2.5.
I'm sorry to say I haven't seen that yet.
That was with Leslie Nielsen
It certainly
and
was.
Priscilla Presley, and I sang Ding Dong, the witch is dead, witch, oh witch, the wicked witch, in Naked Gun 2.5. I was Play It Again Sam, the piano man in the nightclub scene.
Wow.
And, unfortunately, Leslie Nielsen passed away.
He was my neighbor for a long time.
And I just ran
Lovely man.
I just ran into Priscilla Presley at the doctor's office. I was coming out of the doctor's office, Dr. Baumshad, and I walked out, and there's Priscilla Presley. And my scenes were with him, with Leslie Nielsen, and Priscilla Presley.
Isn't that something?
In that movie, Naked Gun 2.5.
So bring us up more to present day. And could you tell us a little bit about how La La Peace Song got started, how you got involved in the project,
Well,
and like that there?
Rick Giannatis asked me to come in and sing with Joyce Vincent and Pam Vincent on the theme song. So I did. I love singing with Joyce and Pam. They're two of my best friends, along with Sherry Payne and Frida Payne. So I got asked to come in and sing on the song, and it was recorded by Pam, Joyce, and myself. And Rick produced it. The La La Peace Song, I think it was done by, originally by, I forget his name. I can't think of his name now. But I heard the song, and when I sang the lead with Pam and Joyce, it was a lot of fun. We sat and just enjoyed working on the song.
Well, the few minutes that I've had with those two ladies sitting right here where we are now. First of all, I'm an only child and have always longed for a sister. And I saw the two of them together and the way they prop each other.
They love each other.
It was palpable from sitting here.
Yeah.
And on the Frida note, this Friday and Saturday night, Miss Frida Payne is performing here in Los Angeles at the Catalina Jazz Club restaurant place.
On Sunset.
And just so happens that Jim's going to be there singing with her as well. So I'm going to be there. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet for this Friday or Saturday night, don't wait another minute. The show will be phenomenal. And now that I know you, too, I
Sherry
get to
Payne and
scream. Yeah, I get
Yes.
to scream and carry on even more. But I promise to try not to do anything too embarrassing. So we've got that project. If you hadn't become the voice and the musician that you are,
Yeah.
did you ever just wonder what else in life you might want to be? Or did you always know that this was it?
I kind of always knew that I wanted to be a singer. Even in Texas, when I was, born and raised there, I wanted to be a singer. So when we got to California to Washington High School with Teresa, I still wanted to be a singer. And my favorite artist happened to be the Motown artist. And I was blessed enough to be able to sing with most of them and then live with Stevie. So it was a blessing. And then when I got to, from Stevie, I came back to California and sang with Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson,
It's a shame you never get anybody of note.
George Duke. George Duke. I love singing with George. And me and Donny Hathaway's daughter, Kenya Hathaway, and Laurie Perry from the Perry Sisters went on the road with George and sang for 5 years with George on the road. We went to Moscow. We went to South Africa. George was one of my favorite people. I loved him like he was my brother. And his wife, Corinne, was, and my wife, Gloria, they were like the best of friends. And I've had a wonderful life, and George made it possible for me to sing on his albums and some of the other albums he produced.
Well, it's because of who you are and what comes. I mean, you talk about being blessed, and I can so relate to that. And I love the fact that you know that too. You have no idea how much I hate to end this interview. I could do this with you another 2-3 hours, but the powers that be here are giving me signs and motions. But before I let you go, could you please share with our audience how they can follow you, how they can find out what's happening in the wonderful world of Jim Gilstrap?
Well, they can come on Facebook.
Right.
And I have a page. Actually, I'm at J Gilstrap, just the letter J and then Gilstrap, at ca.rr.com. You can ask me questions on my page, and I'll be glad to, And I teach at Sherry Payne's daughter's school called La Voix Studios.
I actually met her.
Yeah.
The day that I met Frida, we were all at Dancing with the Stars together.
Good.
Yeah, that's how we first met. Yeah.
Shoshana, I kind of feel like she's my child since her dad passed, and I teach at her school. I teach piano, voice, not voice, but Shoshana teaches voice. I teach guitar, piano, and sight reading to singers, for singers. And I do it every week. So I'm there.
Well, that's something else I need to write down. I would like to become a drummer. It's just the part about having to do 4 things at once. I'm good at multitasking. I am, but I don't know. It's just a whole new world.
My first instrument.
Really? That's a good way to start. Must have made Mama happy. Bang, bang. My mother she never let me have a microphone until I was 20. Again, thank you so very much for coming on the show, Jim.
You're welcome. This is my pleasure.
Amazing. Just amazing.
Okay.
You are listening to the Bonnie Sher Show. Come on, join the conversation with us. Call in to 323-843-2826, or you can follow us on hashtag #BeShareRadio. Now, coming up is going to be a shout out and shout down from my soapbox. I spend a lot of time on my soapbox. Basically, it's all about who I think should be spoken highly of and who I feel should absolutely be ashamed of themselves. Okay, here's the moment we've been waiting for this is the 4th week now that we have highlighted La La Peace Song with having wonderful members of this group of people who have joined forces. People like Jim Gilstrap, like Pam Vincent, like Joyce Vincent. Then we also have Sherry Payne, and Garrett Miller, and Cynthia Manley, Jessica Williams, Lester Mendoza, Carla Marlowe, Kurt Hall, Patty Brooks, Debbie Jacobs, and this whole thing was produced by the disco producer of life. His name is Rick Giannatos. So, having said that, take it away!
The Lord as they pass. Sounds like thunder, but there's no rain. This kind of thunder blows down doors and walls and things. Somebody's crying for those dying, but no one knows how long it's gonna last. Still grass falling to the ground, not knowing what's below. When the end comes telling out where we're gonna go. Oh, people, that's my la 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 peace song. La 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 la, tell me why can't we get along? Oh, people, that's my la 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 peace song. La 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 la, tell me why can't we get along? Oh, I'll tell you why. It's not safe to fly. You might get hijacked too, an unknown land. Desperate people seeking refuge from corruption, oh, by means of subterfuge. Oh,
La 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 peace song. Why can't we all get along? Well, welcome back, and thank you for being back with us here today. Now, joining me in this segment is my T1 co-host, Yerachmiel Altman, who is a member of the T1D community from the great state of Massachusetts. Welcome, Yerachmiel. How are you?
I'm good. You hear me?
Thank you so very much for calling in to us today. I know that you have been a diabetic because you told me. You brought a little friend.
He refused to stay downstairs. What can I do?
I would bring him along. I would not. Your wife didn't want to come. Just your giraffe.
No, she's on her way home.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I would worry. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a little bit about. Actually, let this gentleman speak for himself. Yerachmiel, you have told me that you were diagnosed at age 2, so there's probably not a lot of that story. But
No.
give us a little smattering of
History.
what it was like for you as a child and what it's been like and how that has sort of led you in different paths that maybe you wouldn't have taken had you not been a type 1.
First memory I really have of anything to do with diabetes, it was a summer, I guess before I was 4. I remember feeling really sick, going to the parking lot to get in the car with my mom. Don't remember if I knew where I was going, but I woke up a couple days later in a hospital, probably DKA.
Yeah,
I mean, from the writings I got from the doctor, I was DKA. And the interesting thing was, every time I came out of it, they used to come in the morning with the orange juice, give me the orange juice, and guess what happened next?
Sent your sugar soaring all over again.
Right. So my mom, my dad, and my mom's mother went on 24/7 watch to make sure it didn't happen.
And thank goodness they did.
Thank goodness. Went through high school, went to college, really wanted to do computing, but this was back in the late 70s. I mean, I graduated college in 81. So we're talking late 70s. Computers were really just getting started. My dad felt computers were like hula hoops, they're going away. Do chemical engineering, which was what he was in. So I dual majored. Really brilliant choice for a type 1 diabetic in the ancient days. Made it through my first 3.5 years relatively okay. Came to my senior year, lost my vision. Doctor looked, one eye was bleeding right over the macula, the other eye over the optic nerve. Couldn't laser because lasering would have severed the optic nerve or severed blinded the macula, the part of the eye that actually sees the center. Went on an insulin pump at that point in 81, basically because there was no other choice. That was it. And it wasn't like I was blind 100%. It was whenever the bleeding was bad, I couldn't see at all. Whenever it was less bad, I could see out of one eye or the other. And there was no telling. Was it center, sides? Was it a ring? You know, whatever I could see, I could see. Started on the pump in June. By the end of the summer, I had enough vision back in the left eye that I could complete my last year of college.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And
during
now?
that year, I actually learned to fly a plane.
And now? How is your vision now?
Now, my vision's fine now. In fact, when I last had a vision check, the doctor spent 3.5 hours because no matter what test they did, they couldn't find anything wrong. And they refused to believe someone could be diabetic this long without a problem. So it's like, are you guys done yet? And yet, no, another test and another test.
Yeah, we'll find it. Just
We'll
give us
find
enough time. Right, we'll definitely find something for you.
But fortunately, they closed at 5, so I was able to escape.
Well, you look like you've done a wonderful job with your health and taking care of yourself. And one of the things that really touched my heart about you, if you will, is the fact that with everything else that you've done, including, working as a consultant for Medtronic, which is definitely a greater good situation, but the fact that you have taken it upon yourself to really do something tangible to assist with the children. My show is basically about the older children like us, because I don't think there's...
You mean me?
I do. You have a friend? Maybe.
I have a whole zoo downstairs.
Come over to my house, Rabbi. I have a zoo there too. No. But seriously, what I have seen in terms of what you've sent me and also what I've seen on Facebook, and by the way, speaking of Facebook, all you Facebookians, take a look at Insulinopoly. It's INSUNOLOPY. And you will see a phenomenal idea for a board game that Yerachmiel has come up with, and as well as a book that he's writing. Can you tell us a little bit about where you see that book going in that game? Who should have that in their hand? Let's do it that way.
Okay, the book was done, actually, I was asked by a local rabbi to talk to a family. 6-year-old son was diagnosed diabetic. And you can imagine, they were lost like every new parent is. And he knew me, for the 3.5 years I've been in town. So asked me to go. My wife, thank God, is a nurse, so having her on my side was a big help. Walk in the house, first thing they do is look me up and down and say, "What do you know about childhood diabetes? You're an old man." I said, "Well,
we all started somewhere."
Well, I said, "Your son is 6." And I said, by the time I was 6, I was taking my own shots.
Right? Yeah.
I said I could have taught, I started at 2. And they kind of took 3 steps backwards. And I said, "Started at 2? How many years have you had it?" And I told them at that time, 53 years. And they're like, "You mean you could make it? You could live?" And I said, "Well, either that or I'm a ghost." And so they kind of showed me this tray of stuff they got from the hospital. It was like 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet of syringes and test strips and meters and books. And this was pre them getting a pump or a sensor. This was just the standard stuff. And
this was
lost.
Early confusion.
Right?
Before you step into the... Right.
Right, okay. So I saw they had a good doctor. They had good material to go through. The boy had nothing. I asked him, "What do you got for your son?" Nothing. So I started putting together pages. You probably have some stuff there you could show. I started putting together pages of pictures of my stuffed animals.
We're showing that
shots,
right now.
Taking shots and giving shots and, kind of sitting there with a glucose sensor and what happens when it goes too low, they go out. And, all of the different kinds of things that can happen, what they have to do. And then I said, well, if I'm going to do the pictures, I got to put words with it. And, being an engineer, who's my favorite author? Dr. Seuss.
Of course.
Of course. Every engineer, right? Every paper we write is in rhyme. When I worked for Burroughs, all of my trip reports were in rhyme. My boss loved it. Microsoft loved it even more. Anyway, the point was I started producing this and sending them pages as I did it. And my wife actually works for Fresenius, the kidney dialysis company. So she used to take the pages into work and show them to the nurses who work there, her coworkers. And they're like, "Your husband's nuts, write a book." So I eventually put it together, finished it, and it's out on Amazon. Okay. If you look on Amazon, you can look up my name, Yerachmiel Altman, and it'll come up as a book under my name.
Well, if you all have a grandchild, know of children who are T1s. Even a babysitter who may have the occasion to sit with diabetic children. Listen, the doctors don't all know the difference between a type 1 and a type 2. So it's real important for the children to understand what's happening to them, and it becomes their life. You know, I remember telling my mother, because she hocked me all the time, and I finally said, "Ma, this diabetes is mine. If you want diabetes, go get your own."
My mom did that.
She went and got her own?
Yeah. 33 years ago, she developed type 1, and immediately
Okay,
said
that's
she got
love. Of course.
That's love. She got it from me. She inherited it. Yeah, I couldn't go to my parents' house for 6 months because of that, because she was going to kill me.
Well,
anyway, to get back
thank
to
good. No. Thank goodness she didn't. Do me a favor. I hate to end this, but before we end our conversation, please. I know they can follow you on Insulinopoly on Facebook. Do you tweet? Are you a Twitter
person? I do have a tweet.
Okay, and I guess the best thing to do is to follow you that way. And also, maybe take a little trip over to Amazon, look up the book, and I bet you'll find somebody who can really, really use that book. Think about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, the game is my next project. Game is really for any type 1 diabetic. Idea being, let's say a new patient, give them in the hospital, you got this game, looks like Monopoly. I don't know if you have a picture of it there you can put up.
We already have.
Okay. So I can't see your side. I'm sorry.
The story of my life. Go ahead.
I'm just looking at the blank screen and I don't know if they can see it. Anyway, so the idea is each space is something you use in diabetes care, or it's a kind of a doctor, or it's a type of a test. Whole idea is make it through the board without getting sick. You have a go to hospital card if you mess up. You have a get out of hospital free card, although I would love to have that in real life.
Wouldn't you though?
Wouldn't you? You do have a hospital just visiting space.
Oh, that's the worst part.
Well,
you are an absolute marvel, and I am just so delighted that you were able to take the time to come on and speak with us today. People, follow this man. Great intent, great insight, enormous knowledge, and you can teach an old dog new tricks. I'm here to tell you, he's taught me a few. Thank you again so very much for being with us today. Well, if any of our fellow type 1s would like to have the position sitting at my side or by Skype to be our type 1 co-host, it's really very simple. Drop me a line at bonniesher.com. and let me know, and I'll be happy to make it happen. It's just that easy. I do hate to end this segment, as you know, but it's time for my soapbox. First of all, I'd like to give a shout out to DPAC, which is the Diabetes Patient Advocacy Coalition, and its committed and hard-working leaders, Christelle Marchand Aprigliano and Bennett Dunlap. As a matter of fact, this morning they hosted another one in their series of webinars, and this one was a discussion of the artificial pancreas. I do suggest you keep an eye, if you haven't followed them yet. My hat's off to this group. We need more people like them. Now, we have my shout down. Well, Unfortunately, it's going to be the same as I've been harping on for a while now, and the shout down is to our elected Congress and Senate. They have now allowed the two bills, namely S 804 and HR 1427, which are the bills to make certain that Medicare covers continuous glucose monitors, also known as CGMs. These bills have been languishing. They are beyond languishing. They need resuscitation. Maybe that resuscitation has to come from us and our votes in November. I'd like you all to give this a lot of thought before you go into the polling booth. And let's try and get a more progressive Congress and a Congress and Senate with more heart and more understanding. I kind of feel like we're being picked on, and I can't figure out why. Maybe you can. If you have a comment or an opposing view, whatever, please feel free to shout it out to me. And you can sound off at bonniesher.com/blog. And tell me how you're feeling. Well, that's our show for today. I hope you return next week for another 50 minutes of everybody reminding me, because I think I'm going to forget. But if you look 3 sentences down, I'm getting there. All right, everybody laugh now. Takes direction well. In the meantime, seeing as we've taken this little breaky poo here, what everybody wants to make sure that you see is this incredible black necklace that is actually handmade, hand-wired by Corey Bone of Crown and Anchor Jewelry. We have a photo there for you with black onyx and the gold wiring. And if you're interested in this piece or some other of Corey's work, all you have to do is come on back to bonniesher.com, drop down to the bottom. You will see Corey's name and the name of his company, again, Crown and Anchor Jewelry. Click on that. He'll find out about it. And you, too, can love every piece of jewelry you wear. And I do this. And he loans me this jewelry for promotional consideration. Got that one out. Okay, then. I never do. For my friends, again, you old and you new. Well, I can't even kid about this. I think by now you all know about the very, very special relationship that I had with Sammy Davis Jr. Sammy was my mentor, and he was my friend, and I miss him every day. And Sammy, if, as I believe, you have speakers installed behind the pearly gates, well, man, this one's for you. Take us out.
Whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, whether I find a place in this world or never belong, I gotta be me. I gotta be me. What else can I be but what I am? I want to live, not merely survive. And I won't give up this dream of life that keeps me alive. I gotta be me. I gotta be me. The dream that I see makes me what I am. That faraway prize, a world of success, is waiting for me if I heed the call. I won't settle down, won't settle for less, as long as there's a chance that I can have it all. I'll go it alone, that's how it must be. for somebody else if I'm not right for me. I gotta be free. I've gotta be free. Daring to try to do it or die. I've gotta be me. I'll go it alone. That's how it must be. I can't be right for somebody else if I'm not right for me.